The iPad mini 5 is expected to come out alongside the iPhone 7, so I decided to give the iPad the same treatment as I've been giving the iPhone and compare the previous upgrades. So the dimensions stayed almost identical in the iPad mini 2. It got 0.3 millimeters thicker, 23 grams heavier on the Wi-Fi, 29 grams on the cellular, and it switched from a black color to a silver color, but it also did this with the original iPad mini when the iPad mini 2 came out. The iPad mini 4 is actually taller, 203.2 millimeters, not much wider, just 0.1 millimeters wider, 134.8 millimeters, and much thinner, 6.1 millimeters, so it's as thin as the iPad Air 2, and now the iPad Pro 9.7. So the iPad Mini 4 also weighs a lot less, 299 grams for Wi-Fi or 304 grams for cellular, making it the lightest iPad Mini and thinnest. So they all have a 7.9-inch display, but the iPad Mini 2 increases this to a Retina display, 1536 by 2048 at 326 ppi instead of 163 ppi, 4 times the resolution. The iPad Mini 4 adds a fully laminated display and an anti-reflecting coating. But the iPad Mini 2 was a bigger change in terms of the display. So I have the iPad Mini for iPad Mini 4 for the design, iPad Mini 2 for the display, and the camera is the same in the iPad Mini 2 as it was in the iPad Mini, and for the first time it was changed in the iPad Mini 4, going from a 5 megapixel to an 8 megapixel camera, staying at 1080p, but introducing slow-mo 720p at 120 frames per second. Burst mode was also added with the iPad Mini 4, and the front-facing camera was updated as well, adding HDR and burst mode. So the camera was a winner on the iPad Mini 4. The processor was a much bigger upgrade on the iPad Mini 2. It went from 1 gigahertz to 1.3 gigahertz, 32-bit to 64-bit, and went from 512 megabytes of DDR2 RAM to 1 gigabyte of DDR3 RAM. So the iPad Mini 4 did have an upgrade, going from 1.3 to 1.5 gigahertz and 1 to 2 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, but this only made for a 30% faster CPU. iPad Mini 2 had 10 times that change with a 300% faster CPU and a 60% faster GPU. iPad Mini 2 had a 700% faster GPU, much bigger. The battery stays the same throughout all of the iPads, not just these three. All of the iPads have the same battery life ever since 2010 when the original one came out. The connectivity has changed in the iPad Mini 4 but stayed the same in the iPad Mini 2. So the iPad Mini 4 has 802.11ac Wi-Fi and Bluetooth 4.2. So in terms of connectivity, the iPad Mini 4 wins. It also has a barometer. It introduces a barometer, something that wasn't here. 4 wins in more places, but the 2 seems to have bigger wins.